Hello everyone, my name is Kieran from Red Devil Weekly, and the news has broken, or it broke. I actually broke a few hours ago. Most of it broke last night, to be fair. But the bottom line is, it looks like the Bruno Fernandes deal to Manchester United is done. It looks like the transfer saga is finally over, which is brilliant news. Obviously, a player that we were looking at in the summer, reportedly, it looks to be on the cards now. It'd be very, very difficult to mess it up. I don't want to jinx anything, but it'd be very, very difficult to mess it up now. It seems like the deal is going to happen. Bruno Fernandes is going to join Manchester United and may even feature in the Wolves game on the weekend, which is amazing news, really. Obviously, there are still problems with this club, and the Bruno Fernandes deal isn't going to brush all those problems under the carpet, but it is a very, very nice signing indeed. Something we've been crying out for in the midfield, a creative midfielder, especially since Paul Pogba has obviously been injured, depending on what you believe. But we're going to talk about as well where this potentially leaves the Paul Pogba situation. Does this mean that Paul Pogba is guaranteed to leave in the summer? Is this Paul Pogba's replacement? Or is Solskjaer looking to keep Pogba and bring in Bruno Fernandes to play alongside him? We're going to get into all of that sort of stuff and more, but make sure you do leave your thoughts in the live chat as we go, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new, and leave a like, all that great stuff. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Obviously, really, really solid news. Matthew Cole says great stuff. Yeah, kind of sums it up, really. It is great stuff. Great stuff for the club. Great stuff for our prospect of top four. And we needed it. We definitely needed a creative midfield player. And Bruno Fernandes, as I said at the start, is someone who we've been looking at for ages and ages. Obviously, in the summer, we were kind of wanting to get his signature. A lot of people were saying that a lot of people were saying that he was the one we had to nail down, and we didn't nail him down this summer, and that's why a lot of people were frustrated with the transfer activity that happened, or the lack of transfer activity that happened, I should say. Just want to welcome Kevin, Krishna, and Mo. Thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. But yeah. Obviously, the lack of transfer activity, was kind of compounded by the fact that we didn't get Bruno Fernandes in a position that we really needed. And now it looks like we finally got him. And obviously, he still needs to sign the papers. He's not holding the shirt just yet. But it looks like the deal's done. And the deal is actually done for not bad money. It's not done for, a load of money like we're used to. It looks like it's going to be a fee of under £50 million, which for Manchester United standards is really, really good bit of business. Usually you'd say, someone like Bruno Fernandes, we'd be paying 60, 70 million for. Our negotiating tactics were definitely questionable in this, but at the same time, you've got to say, we've got the player, and really, at this stage where we are, just bringing the player in is all that matters. And there's potential as well for more transfer activity. Who knows what's going to happen with that. I'm going to read a few of the comments. Mo says, I have a feeling this Bruno deal was done at the beginning of the window. Glazers offered the club to hold back the news until the end of the window to ease pressure on them. It could be. It could very well be that, Mo. And I think, obviously, with all the pressure that's on the Glazers and Woodward at the moment, the fact that, people are throwing flares at his house is absolutely mental stuff going on right now. I think, announcing this signing has, kind of changed the general mood inside the Manchester United fan base, especially on social media. If you go on Twitter today, everyone's really positive, everyone's really excited about the deal happening. No one's really talking about Woodward and the Glazers and the protests and the walkouts. No one's really talking about that. So the fact that this Bruno deal was done and the fact that it was released now, definitely there could be some, some preemptive thought behind that. Kevin says he's so happy. I'm very happy as well, mate. Just happy that we got the deal done in the end. Chris says now time to sack Woodward. I agree. K United, welcome to stream, mate. Thanks for joining as well. And welcome Siddharth. Thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. As I said, if you haven't already, please do leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're trying to hit 800 subscribers, so if you can help us out with that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And also, make sure you check out the Manchester Derby preview that I uploaded on the channel yesterday. Make sure you check that out if you haven't already. So K Nice is getting there. Very, very, obviously very, very excited. Kevin Glazer's out. Exactly, we have to keep that message going. We can't let this, distract from the fact that the Glazers are still, they're still poison to this club, and I'm not afraid to say it. They are poison to this club, and they're destroying the foundations of it. And we need to, continue to, state that message. We can't let this sort of transfer just kind of go against that. Christian says now centre forward needed badly, or bring back Sanchez. We'll talk about that actually in a bit, because obviously Solskjaer did make a very interesting comment, I thought, in his press conference for the City game about Sanchez, saying we'll bring back Sanchez and he'll prove you all wrong. So I hope he's right, but it's a very interesting comment, and we'll delve into that in just a second. But let me know your thoughts on that as well. Kay says 46 million is half what we normally pay. Exactly. I mean, I thought, if we're going to get Bruno Fernandes, Sporting Lisbon was absolutely pull our pants down. I thought they were going to give us, say, 80 million or you're not having him. But I think what helped us in this situation is the fact that Sporting Lisbon are in financial trouble already. So they had to get some sort of money. And if they weren't going to risk Manchester United not buying the player. So I think the fact that they were in financial trouble, the fact they really needed the money sooner rather than later, I think led to them, accepting the bid of around, under 50 million pounds. But also I think there's some sort of clause in Bruno Fernandes' contract where if they do receive an offer of 55 million euros or more, and they don't accept it, they have to give Bruno Fernandes' agent George Mendes 5 million pounds. And with the financial trouble they're in, they just could not afford to do that sort of thing. So I think that also helped the deal fall through as well. Sidar says striker. Yeah, we need a striker. Obviously, Krishna mentioned that as well. Welcome, Abhishek. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. If you are joining me right now and you are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. Really do appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts in the live chat, of course. Kay says, throw a flare at Eds, that's fine. Do not throw a flare at a house with kids in it. I think that is a very, very good point. Obviously, I don't really condone the actions of people who throw flares at houses and things like that, especially, as you said, with kids in the house. I think that is too far. Obviously, the chanting and things like that, some people have, differing opinions whether it's too far or not. But I think, attacking a house, throwing flares at a house, with kids in it, with vulnerable people in it, I don't really agree with that at all. Krishna says, sack Ollie in the season and bring in Poch, and Bruno is a gift for Poch, who wanted him at Tottenham. Then Man United will be fire. Well, it's an interesting one as well. Do we sack Ollie at the end of the season? Now, I think that will depend on whether we get top four. If we do end up getting top four, I think Solskjaer is going to stay in a job. Whether that's the right decision or not, who knows? But I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think the board are looking to give Solskjaer time. They've come out and publicly backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer even after the Burnley game, when a lot of people were saying that his time was up. The board came out straight away and backed Solskjaer. So I think the board are wanting to keep Solskjaer in a job as much as possible and backed him all the way. So if we do get top four, I don't see us sacking Ollie for Poch. If we don't get top four, then I think that is the inevitable change that's going to happen. Whether Poch is going to accept, of course, is a different thing, because by then he might have moved on to another challenge. So who knows what's going to happen with the managerial merry-go-round right now. But if we do get top four, I'll be very happy with that, and I think the board will be happy with that. So I don't see Solskjaer being sacked if we get top four. Welcome, A. Rodriguez. Thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. Time for a party. Bruno in the house. It's always time for a party, mate. Always time for a party. Bruno, looks like the deal is done. If you're just joining us, it looks like the Bruno Fernandes deal is done. This news broke kind of age ago. When I say age ago, probably like 10 hours ago, kind of last night, that we agreed the fee with Sporting Lisbon. The deal is agreed, and it looks like he's flying over today, potentially for a medical, either today or tomorrow. So it looks like the deal's done. Finally, some good news for Manchester United transfers, and not just absolute kind of rumours and conjecture. Really, really good to hear that. Christian says Piatek is still available. Yeah, Piatek is still available. And he's someone I think we need to look at strikers. We need to look at strikers. And if we don't get a striker, it's going to be difficult for the end of the season. Yes, you know, Martial is a quality player and Greenwood as well is great at finishing, but as we saw against Burnley, we had those two up front and we didn't really create anything. We didn't create anything with any sort of, you know, we didn't have that ruthless streak up front. And obviously we play Man City tonight, which is a massive, massive game. It's going to be interesting to see whether we see that again, whether, you know, this game, if we don't create much, will it make Solskjaer spring into action and the board and Ed Woodward spring into action and, you know, drive more of a need to bring in a striker? Who knows? But we definitely need to bring someone in, even if it's only to the end of the season, even if it's just on loan. I think that's what we need right now. Welcome Don Ragnar, thanks for joining, mate, really appreciate it. He says, did you hear about Ollie dressing up as a fan and firing flares at Ed Woodward's house in order to force a Bruno Fernandes transfer? Well, yeah, obviously, you know, I don't condone throwing flares at people's houses, but I will not say that Solskjaer dressing up to get the move through. I mean, to be fair, Ed Woodward probably wasn't in there. I'm not even sure if he was. Kevin says Man United confirm. Well, there you go. Man United. Look, have they? I'm gonna have to check that. Have Man United actually confirmed that that's what's going down? Because if that has just happened, that's obviously great news. It's further confirmation that it's happening. Kay says the chance shouldn't be taken literally. The fans have to say something to really draw attention to the matter. Yeah, I think I agree. You have to kind of make a. You know, you have to make a proper statement, and obviously, while some of the wording in the chanting isn't great, you do need to kind of get yourself heard, and yeah, kind of make sure people take note, and maybe that's what the chants are doing. Abby Sheck says Piatek is likely to join Spurs. Yeah, Piatek obviously has been linked with Spurs. They've just made the signing of Bergwijn as well. Oh yeah, so Man United have confirmed it. Obviously, you know, you've got... Oh, well, actually, I haven't actually been on that. But still, yeah. Man United have confirmed they've reached agreement for him. So, yeah. Obviously, it's been confirmed by the club as well. So, this deal is pretty much definite going to happen. It's done. It's done. Christian says, Man United need a centre-forward like Jimenez, but Man United have to split 55 million for him, but he would be worth signing. I think Jimenez, I've looked at him when he's been playing, and he's a decent striker. He's a potent striker, deadly when he's front of goal. I don't think Wolves are going to let him go, and I think if we were going to sign him, it would be big money. We're probably looking 70, 80 million at least, especially for the fact he's Premier League proven, and he's still quite young. I think he's, 22, 23 years old, so he's still quite young. So for the talent that he's got, I think... it's going to be big money to take him away from Wolves. And also, Wolves are playing quite well at the moment. It'd be difficult to drag him away, but, you know, sometimes money talks. As we were talking about in previous videos, money does talk. So, as I say, let me know your thoughts on anything else that we discuss on this. And, I mean, I think, as I was going to say... hold on. Alright, no, sorry, that's something else. But yeah, don't know what that was. But yeah, I think what we're also going to talk about was the Paul Pogba situation. What does this transfer mean for Paul Pogba at Manchester United? Pogba's been out for months now. Obviously, he's been posting stuff on his social media, you know, saying stuff like patience is key, saying that, you know, these sort of things, you know, it takes time for his injury to heal, and he will be back. And I'm not so sure about that, really. I think we will see him back in a Manchester United shirt before the end of the season. But realistically, I think Pogba will go in the summer. And I do think that while Solskjaer might want to play Pogba and Fernandes in the same team, I think the Glazers and Woodward are looking at it like we'll probably get, you know, 100, 110 million for Paul Pogba, realistically, because I don't see us getting 150 million for him. I don't see what club's going to want to pay that for someone who hasn't really played or played much first team football in the last 6 months. So I don't see anyone who's going to pay 150 million for Paul Pogba. So maybe they're looking at it as the Bruno Fernandes is almost a Pogba replacement, and then once we brought Fernandes in, we can start building a team around him. And with the Pogba money, we can then reinvest it in maybe another centre-back or a forward or something like that. And I think that's the way they're thinking about it. Now, whether you agree with that or not, I'm not sure, because obviously Fernandes and Pogba together would be a really, really, you know, strong midfield. Probably one of the strongest midfielders we've had on paper in a while. But I just think that the Glazers and Woodward, that's the kind of way they usually work. If they do bring in a big player, usually another big player goes out the window. You know, we saw it with Harry Maguire. Obviously, we lost Chris Smalling, and now Chris Smalling is one of the best defenders in Italy. And we probably should let go of Phil Jones, to be honest. But Chris Smalling, obviously, a lot of United fans are saying we should get him back. Some United fans are even saying he's better than Harry Maguire. I don't know what you guys think about that, but obviously he's done very, very well for Roma so far, and good luck to him, because I think even though he did get slated from time to time, he actually wasn't too bad a defender. And he seemed like a really, really nice guy. So obviously wish the best for him. Hopefully he continues smashing it, and maybe one day he'll come back to Manchester United. Eddie Rodriguez says it took 7 months. Holy Jesus! Now we won't see Lingard, Pereira, and if we get Pogba, McTominay, what a midfield we have, plus Rashford up front. Holy Jesus! I can't wait to see. Rodriguez is very, very excited, and so I am. And to be fair, so am I should say. But yeah, I think the midfield that we have of obviously that Pereira and Lingard in there isn't the best, to say the least. And even though Matic and Fred have actually improved, I would say, over the last few months, the midfield's still not good enough. And bringing in Bruno Fernandes, we need that creative midfielder. I think defensively our midfielders were alright, but creatively there were just games like the Burnley game where we just create absolutely nothing in the game. And, to see us bring in Bruno Fernandes, someone who's been Portuguese Player of the Year twice in a row, one of the highest assisters in Europe, someone who can score goals as well from midfield, someone who has been compared to Frank Lampard, which is very high praise indeed. He's got a lot to live up to, but if he can live up to it, he'll be the perfect signing for us. So let's hope he can. But I think we did need that kind of attacking midfielder to come into Manchester United, and it looks like it's done. Obviously, Man United have just confirmed it as well, so really happy with that. But yeah, as I said, what are your thoughts on the Paul Pogba situation in regards to this Bruno Fernandes transfer news? Do you think that Paul Pogba is going to leave at the end of the season, or do you think we're going to try and build a team around Bruno and Pogba in that midfield? Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Kevin says, flying on tonight, medical Thursday. Right, so there we go. So it looks like the medical's going to be tomorrow. The deal will be completed tomorrow, which will be an absolute weight off everyone's shoulders, even the fans' shoulders, because every single day throughout this transfer window, we've been waking up hearing transfer news and hearing different sources saying it's on and it's off and it's on and it's off. Finally, some trusted news, some good news in this saga that is finally over and it's confirmed and it's all done, and it's really, really good news. I can't say much else other than that. Chris says Pogba should be sold and sign 3 players with his price. You can get Maddison and Jimenez. That's what I think they're looking to doing, in my opinion, Chris. That's what I think they're doing. I think we are seeing Pogba, the end of Paul Pogba, and I think we are going to try and reinvest that money. And if we do that, I think most Man United fans will be happy with that. Yes, obviously Pogba is probably our best player in terms of skill-wise, and in terms of his ability, I think he's probably has the best ability at the club. However, he's not. His presence isn't. I mean, I think a lot of things in the media kind of exacerbated. A lot of media exacerbate, Paul Pogba and the problems that he creates. And I think on his day, Pogba can be a brilliant, brilliant player. However, I just think that if he does want to leave, then I think we should allow him to leave. Because if someone wants to leave, it's stupid to keep them in the dressing room. Because ultimately, if you're playing in a team and someone doesn't want to be in that team, you're not going to play for them, and they're not going to play for you. And when you have players not playing for other players and not playing for the badge, that's when problems start, and that's when you get lack of work rate and lack of heart, lack of desire, and stuff that we saw last season. So if Pogba wants to leave, I think we should let him leave. Try and get as much money as we can. Maddison is a very, very good shout, Krishna. I think I really do like James Maddison. I was watching him yesterday. Even though Leicester lost the game, he was very lively. He looked probably their best player. And I think Maddison would probably be open to coming to Manchester United. And the right money would probably be able to tempt him. Again, that's probably one that we're going to spend a lot of money on if it's going to happen. I would say probably around £80 million for James Maddison. So yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say, guys, really, other than, I'm really, really happy with the signing. Kay says, I know this is controversial, but I believe now we've got Bruno, our midfielder. Our top priority signing should not be a midfielder. Our midfield will do for now. We need to look at a striker and a right winger. I think we do need to look at a striker, definitely, Kay. As I said, even just the end of the season, on loan or something like that would be fine. Rodriguez says, I think they will sell Pogba and buy Sancho and a forward or maybe midfielder, but I hope Pogba stays. Well, Sancho, again, is another great name. Another name that's been floating around, not only this transfer window, but pretty much the last kind of 3 or 4 transfer windows for Manchester United. Again, he's someone I'd be really happy to see come in. Again, I think it'd be big bucks. But if we were to bring in Sancho and Maddison and then another striker, I think we're looking at a very, very good team there. Obviously, we're going to have to spend probably those 3 players which cost upwards of £200 million. But in this day and age, you have to spend. And whether you like it or not, it's going to cost us a decent amount of money just to bring in these really good players. And we can still bring in the likes of Jude Bellingham and other young players and develop them behind the scenes so that when these kind of, world-class players start to fade a bit, we then have the youth coming through to take over their place. And that's how you start to rebuild dynasties and, rebuild. And that's what we should be looking at doing. Obviously, we've already got Daniel James, Mason Greenwood, Chong, Gomez, these sort of players, Garner as well. We've already got the youth coming through. If we can bring in some world-class talent to then help them come through, once they're 23, 24 and ready to kind of lead the line and be the players to help out, we'll then have really, really good squad depth. Kay says, I know it's controversial, but I'll just say that. Kay says Sancho and Werner would top our target list. Werner, obviously, another great striker, to be fair, another great name. Loads of different names flying at me here, and we'll see what happens. I don't see us signing a striker in this transfer window. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see us signing a striker. There's a possibility that we could, but it'd be a deadline day swoop if we did it. But hopefully we are working on deals behind the scenes. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in. Really appreciate it. As I said, if you are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe before heading off. I do loads more content like this. Transfer news, match previews, match reviews, all that good stuff. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you do, check them all out. Like the video and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And Bruno Fernandes looks like it's done. Hopefully you can get a decent performance in this game tonight and go on to the Wolves game and, start afresh in the Premier League. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.